We're in South India. We're in Auroville, a very special place on the planet that belongs to humanity. We're in the international zone, and I've been here a long time, and finally I was able to build my dream house, which is made out of recycled materials mostly. So we're going to take a look at this place, and I hope it inspires some people to realize that we can build houses out of anything. And actually we should be into zero waste, because waste, as most people know, has two parts. The biodegradable part, we make compost out of that, and the non-biodegradable part, we build with that. So that's the whole story.
Thank you so much, B, for agreeing to do this, interview for our audience. And it's so exciting for me to be actually meeting somebody in person who's living the dream of having converted trash into an actual place that, you can stay. So it's a really, really humbling moment for me.
Well, I had to do it because people said you can't do it.
Right.
And people said, if you build out of trash, you're in a toxic waste situation, which is all nonsense. So I just had to, you have to so-called walk your talk and all that.
Right.
Because I've been advocating this for many years, and finally only recently, in the last 15 years, was I able to get going on the project.
Wonderful.
Collecting things, and then we put it together.
So before we start a tour of your house, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from originally, and how did you decide to come to India, to Auroville, and what inspired you to take up this fascinating project of zero waste?
I came with a certain destiny of my soul, let's say, because I studied in California in several universities and things, and I had a spiritual aspiration to save the world, and I didn't see how to do that. And it wasn't until I found Sri Aurobindo, and when I read his philosophy, his evolutionary philosophy, I thought, this is what I've always been thinking. And he, of course, said much more than I could have ever thought. And I heard they wanted to make a city in India based on this, and I said, there's no question, I have to go there.
Wonderful.
So I came for the human unity, I came for the ideals of Auroville. And so when you're here, when we started out, things were extremely primitive, but now we have a very nice, let's call it a bourgeois setup, but we cannot continue in the old patterns of consumerism and all that.
Right.
We have to take care of each other, first of all. We have to take care of the waste, we have to take care of the planet, the animals, everything.
Right.
So as the systems in the world fall apart, it's so important that we go inside and build our world inside so that we can manifest it outside our dreams.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So that's what I'm.
What a brilliant journey.
But it's a privilege, to be able to do that. Without the context of Auroville, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do this in California.
Right.
See, I couldn't even have a compost toilet in California. It was against the law.
Oh, is that so?
And then when I was visited some years ago, I met an environmentalist person in the government and I told her that. I said, look, well, now we're adjusting it. If you have a certain kind of toilet, you can have a compost toilet. So that's so ridiculous. Because a flush toilet is, a total waste.
Totally.
Anyway, that's a whole other story.
Absolutely. So on that note, would you like to show us around Trash Mahal?
Please come in.
Your dream project.
Please, we're right here in front of the house.
Okay.
It was made, no architect, of course. I mean, I had all the plan in my head. It was no problem. I had a friend who made two grills.
Okay.
And there's a grill in front and a grill in back. And the walls are all made from earth blocks. They're called compressed earth blocks. These blocks are pressed in a machine. It's the soil from here. You add just a tiny bit of cement so they don't break down. But these blocks did break down and they were no good, and the block making place was pushing them in the canyon, and they said, these are not good enough for construction.
Okay.
So I said, exactly what I want. So I had to prove that those blocks were good enough for, and so they're there.
Wonderful.
So that was a nice start. And then we have what we call landfill. Even Oroville, the so-called eco-city and all that stuff is doing 3 tons of landfill even today every month, which is outrageous in my view. And so we try to get as much out of landfill, use it for construction of compost. So I took things from the landfill. The whole floor is landfill. And there's a lot of pottery here because this pottery is because Oroville has all these potteries,
Right.
and they were throwing the waste in landfill.
Okay.
And pottery is very valuable. And we can go here and
Yeah.
see my
If
pottery
you could show
garden.
us some of your pottery.
The pottery garden.
I love that term,
Well,
pottery
the pottery
garden.
garden is so wonderful because you don't need to water it, and you don't have to do anything actually, and it maintains all its colorful blooms of different colors.
Beautiful.
It does a wonderful thing. And then of course I surrounded my pottery garden with these green plants. If you see this hedge here,
Yeah.
this hedge is edible. This is the famous Mayan spinach.
Mayan spinach.
Mayan spinach, also called it's also called chaya spinach.
Okay.
It's more nutritious than most spinaches. It's not a raw spinach though. This is you have to cook. But this sustained the Mayan civilization. They built Machu Picchu.
Wow.
They had the strength. And the amazing thing about this spinach is that you can take a stick of it and stick it in the ground anywhere in the world, and it grows. It grows incredibly
So
fast, always stays green. If there's no rain and drought condition, it waits for the rain. It's one of the most wonderful plants, so there's no reason for anybody to be worried about food security. And I have it growing I made hedges out of it. This is just a little border that I put around. And then any day anybody comes, I give them a few cuttings, and wherever they live, they stick it in the ground, and they will never starve.
Amazing. So good to know that.
All of these things are part of sustainability, as we know. And I believe in the permaculture principles, and many of you may know Bill Mollison and all the permaculture stuff. So all of that I try to incorporate, but also integral yoga. For me, integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo is permaculture. So we have all, and then there's fantastic things also around the world, like the Earthship.
Yes.
So these things have been done. There's a timeless way of building from Christopher Alexander, and of course Michael Reynolds' Earthship.
Right.
So all these things are inspiring for me, and I used that inspiration to make this place.
And while we're talking about authors,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your, about the book Walden, that was written by the philosopher Thoreau, and your visit to his log cabin.
Yes. That's a nice,
Yeah.
nice thing. I think many people know Henry David Thoreau and his books, and especially Walden. But I was so fortunate when I was visiting a friend in Massachusetts to go to Walden Pond. And the place, I mean, I had read the book, but when I got there, I was so impressed at this is a big pond. It's like a small lake. And they have actually excavated the spot where he built his house. And all those wonderful things he said, when his neighbor said, "What are you doing building your own house? Why don't you get a carpenter?" And he said, "Why should I pay somebody to deprive me of the joys of carpentry?" These wonderful things. And I had so much joy making this house.
Yeah.
But I did need some help. And there were 2 wonderful guys from Nepal who came down here looking for work. And so together we did the building. And then some local carpenters helped me with the wood. And I had a friend with a chainsaw. So this building is made with 12 pillars. And the pillars came from the African mahogany tree that fell down in front in the cyclone. The whole floor upstairs is made with wood that fell down in the cyclone.
Amazing.
And you'll see in the house a lot of bottles because this is a drinking area. This is the international zone of Oroville where pavilions are supposed to come up, but we're about 40 years behind in our construction schedule. So these lands have been used by local people and visitors from here and there to drink. So all the bottles get left.
Right.
So
Let me,
being a zero waste, I collected the bottles for 2 years, and I had enough bottles to also supplement the construction.
so inspiring.
And
to hear.
also in the garden, you will see here videotapes.
Oh,
So these videotape cassettes were going into landfill, and that's the thing, you know, what do you do with something like that?
Yeah.
Well, these things will last forever, see? So you use them in your garden. So there they are, and they're fine. Those have been there for, I don't know, 8 years or something, and of course they don't break down. And then I use some in the bathroom, some video cassettes, because 3 of them make a brick.
Oh,
So I used them in the wall
Lovely.
in the bathroom.
lovely.
And then when you have, if you have a beautiful plate or something that somebody gave you for your birthday and it breaks, what do you do with it? I put it on the wall. See, it's cracked,
Yes.
but that was a special plate somebody made for me, and I don't want to throw it away.
Right.
I could have put it in the pottery garden, but I just stuck it on the wall.
Nice.
So everything you can continually create.
Right.
And the wood pieces on this frame.
I'll just go a little closer so I can show everybody.
The wood frame. That's from,
So-
thanks to,
These are the bottles. right?
yes, thanks to a woodworking unit here, Torkel's Woodworking, because they have extra pieces and they throw them in a pile and the termites start to eat them. So the termites help to mold them and make them very interesting. And so instead of letting the termites have all of it, I take it when it's in a good shape, and then I just use it for other things. And this is a broken tile, and you can see the CDs, DVDs on it. Children came here from Mumbai. They wanted to do a project. They wanted to help with the house. They said they would make a rising sun, and so they did. There's their and they made a fish. So we also have a fish here, and but the one important thing about this house is the idea that a home or something is a sacred space.
Yes.
So what happens in Japan, where they have Shintoism, which is nature-based, what they do in Japan at their Shinto temples, they make a gate.
Yes.
That you have to come through before you can go in the temple. So the gate has some power to take all your past karma, all your problems, all of that away. So you go in the temple, you're clean. You're clean and fresh. So I got a piece of the most famous shrine in Japan on the top of Mount Fuji, the old Shinto gate there, and it was decaying after so many years. I took a small piece on the ground. They were lying all over. Just a small piece, and I put it on mine to bless it.
Nice.
And then I put my symbol, and you know, these are all parts. These trees also came down right here on the spot
Nice.
in the cyclone.
Wonderful.
And then, of course, when you enter, you've changed. You're going into a new mode.
Yes.
And then there's a mirror that's reflecting back yourself. So you have to face your new self.
Nice.
But the hand of destiny is here, offering you prosperity and wealth. So there it is.
Fascinating.
So your future is guaranteed, especially if you recycle and upcycle.
Yeah, totally.
And this hand was a pottery cast off that was going into landfill, and those jewels, those fantastic rich jewels, were also in the waste stream because I work here at the local eco service, you know, volunteer once a week, and all this stuff is coming through, you know. So I put the really valuable things in my pocket,
Nice.
and I brought it home.
Wonderful.
So now we're going, this walkway also is made out of bottles, just turned upside down. And these are my shoes. These are the famous Teva shoes from Israel. You know, they cost about $100 or €100,
Okay.
and people throw them away when they get a little bit loose. So what I do is I take them home and I put super glue on them.
Nice.
I have to do it every 2 or 3 months, but you get a big bottle of super glue for 40 rupees, and you've got shoes for a lifetime. Your shoes never wear out.
Oh.
And so these are extras. So I'm set for the rest of my life as far as shoes go. So I never have to buy another shoe.
I should get some.
And then this beautiful door was actually down on the road. Here in Tamil Nadu, they demolish these old homes and then they sell off the pieces. And some people won't buy these old things because they consider them the Vastu system.
Yes,
You know, it's like
yes.
Feng Shui. They say, oh, no, you don't know who walked through that door.
Right.
But I decontaminate in case there's any contamination with one incense.
Nice.
And then you got this beautiful door. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, look at this door.
Totally.
This is a teak wood that's so valuable that, we don't get this Burma teak anymore.
Oh, it's Burma teak.
Burma
Lovely.
teak. And also I have a bed upstairs. Same thing.
Nice.
So-
And along the same lines that you just mentioned, there is also this thing where some people do not keep broken glass objects in the house. But the fact that you've literally used broken glass like all over your
Yeah.
house here in the garden, and you have such beautiful trees surrounding it, it's just proof that nature does support sustainability over superstition.
Yes. We had to break all those old traditions.
Yeah.
I mean, some traditions are fine, but if you get stuck, because the world keeps changing.
Yes,
Now we have to live a different way,
absolutely.
and we have all this wealth. We have enough for everybody. Also, we have the technology. You
Yes,
see,
yes.
you can make building materials out of old plastic, out of anything. So the problem is only consciousness. There's no technical problems anymore, and no information problems because you have this phone.
Yeah.
You can ask Google, well, how do you make a bottle house? And you will get, maybe 500 videos on how to do it. Somebody in Brazil making one, somebody in Africa making one. And, it's so simple and you just do it. So the information is there, technology is there. What's missing? Yeah, we have to change inside.
True.
Okay, so let's go inside.
Yes.
Speaking of inside.
Excited.
So we will go
Let
right
me
in
take
here.
my shoes off.
Yeah.
The Indian style.
We will go right in.
So
And the
warm.
floor is a landfill that has been covered. And of course, I put no steel in my floor because that's very expensive and wasteful. But the floor has cracked.
Okay.
So the floor has some wonderful cracks in it. And I will repair those cracks. And I may put another layer of something else on the whole thing so that it's like that. And this is some other old furniture's rescue.
Beautiful.
And here is Tetra Pak furniture. I think everybody knows what Tetra Paks are. They are these cartons in which you get, they say natural juices and natural, pure milk, but it's all, of course, fake.
Right.
It's all made from reconstituted powders and chemicals. They say no preservatives because they don't need any. Anyway, we have a lot of that as waste, and it doesn't biodegrade.
Right.
So what are you going to do with it? Upcycle it on your roof because you have a waterproof material that is termite proof, lightweight, ideal for a roof. So my roof, here you can see through here, the roof has, here's another Tetra Pak furniture that I got for my birthday. That's 10 years old, that one already. It's got a little paper mache on it and the Tropicana orange. But here we can go upstairs and see the Tetra Pak roof.
Right.
So I use the Tetra Pak sheets that are made in India. They make them in the factory. They just grind it. They don't add anything. They grind it and heat it and press it.
Nice.
That's all.
And I'm curious about this part. This is a sand
Yes.
garden or something?
Yeah, this is like a Zen garden. This is a a sand garden. And when we did the rainwater catchment ponds here, we found some what they call petrified wood. So that's actually wood, and it's 20 million years old,
Oh my
and it's
God.
turned to stone.
Wow.
So sometimes they call it fossil wood. They have different names for it. But it's fantastic. To me, it's extremely valuable. And then these are shells from around the world, some from south in the forest, Haiti, and some from different parts of India, from Hampi and different places, and shells and things from travels and stones. And then you can play with this, so you can change it every day. Or if you're having a bad day, then you just rearrange the garden and you feel better. And of course, when children come, they think it's here for them, and they jump right in and rearrange it. We had some kids here the other day, and they just had so much fun in this garden. And then I put it back,
Nice.
and I have a friend also who likes to do it, so it's really nice.
Beautiful.
And then most of the things here are donated. This table was given to me by Anandi, the raw food place. She had an extra one. These chairs I got, they were all broken, and so I just fixed them. We have another trick here to make cushions. What we do is we take our plastic and we stick it in these cushions. And these cushions are made out of banners.
Okay.
Because the next door is Bharat Nivas, is the Pavilion of India. Every week they have 2 or 3 performances or exhibitions, so they make a big banner. It's got the date on it, the name. Okay, next week, new one. Where are the old ones going?
Yeah.
You see, and it's this wonderful kind of, because it has to be waterproof. So we have this recenter. See, and I just take all my old plastic things and I just stick them in here, and then when it's full, then you start another one. And I have 3 now, I have 4, I think. And then all your plastic is making a nice cushion. And then when my chair broke, I didn't know what to do because the cane all went out. You know, cane breaks. And then somebody had put a plastic one in, that broke. Then I looked out the window and I said, what am I going to do? And my hose pipe was out there and it was broken, leaking. So I cut up my hose pipe and I made I made a new seat there. And then I put this on, so it's like super comfortable.
That is so innovative.
So everything, everything. Then we have over here, of course, we have the washing machine.
Yeah. And
without the machine.
Before we come to that, because that's really interesting, there's another thing I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Last time I came to your place, I sat on that chair, which has a wooden cushion kind of thing.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about
Well, that one's just a board. That's an old board that I found.
Okay.
Because this one, the cane in it is still relatively good, but it had one hole in the middle. So I said, how am I going to protect the rest of this this thing, Let me